Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today, I'm sure if you've read the title you know what I'm going to be talking about. I don't want to be depressing, but a lot has been happening in the world, as I'm sure all of you know, and as I'm sure you're all been affected by. I just never thought I would live through something like this ever in my lifetime. Last week I talked a bit about what had happened to my stock portfolio, and I haven't really looked at it since that week. Well, I guess since last week. Yeah, I haven't looked at it this week, just because I know that things aren't getting better, and I can only imagine things aren't getting better in the stock markets. So I've kind of stopped following the stock markets because there's no point, because I'm not taking money out, so there's no point even looking at it or thinking about it or dwelling on it, because like there are more stressful things to worry about, such as being out of work. A few weeks ago I made a video about being self-employed and how you could be self-employed full-time if you became self-employed full-time in the UK. Since then, I'm sorry, because like right now with, you know, the big thing that's out there killing people, the virus, in the UK things are moving slowly. They're moving slowly, and they're not the support I thought that they would provide their citizens is not there. Everyone, like, the first thing they addressed were businesses, the second thing they addressed were the employed, and then as an afterthought, the self-employed and freelancers kind of got something, but no, it's not really. It's not something that is even, it's just a mess. I don't even know what else to say, really. So I can kind of explain a little bit of my situation. I was gonna make a video, I had made a video about becoming a full-time film TV extra and working in film and like acting and all that. And I made a video about it, and I was gonna post it, but it wasn't quite right, and I wanted to film more and add more information on how to actually get started, and then to like put another half of it somewhere else on a different channel. And so I was like trying to remorph that, and then this happened, so I'm not going to be posting that video pretty much indefinitely, maybe later in the year if things are back to normal, because production has ceased. So film and TV aren't making anything anymore. All productions have stopped. My last day on set was on Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday. I think my last day on set was Tuesday, and I was on EastEnders, and while I was on the set, things kept happening. There was like whispers of like things changing, and I was like, in my head when I gone, the fact that the shoot wasn't cancelled, I was like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Productions are probably gonna keep going. If BBC are continuing to film, then most likely the rest of the film industry would continue creating stuff. But I'd already heard that Warner Brothers had shut down the studio. They weren't filming any of the films I'd been on anymore, and I was just like, oh shoot. And then literally the day after I wrapped on BBC, like on EastEnders, they announced on the news that BBC had stopped production. So that was the last day of filming, and I kind of felt it was coming because it was like really disjointed, and there was like so many things that kept changing during the day, and I was like, oh. And I knew that if they were gonna discontinue, as soon as that happens, everyone else is gonna be pretty much done. Because if like the BBC do it, it's huge, because honestly I think they just care about their money. So yeah, if they're stopping production, it means it's really the end of the line, and kind of everyone would probably follow suit, and that's like national broadcasting. So yeah, so since then basically every other shoot I'd had planned for the future had cancelled. Had cancelled the week before. Like all my shoots that I had booked were done, and I was essentially out of a job. I knew that Tuesday would be my last day working, because I was going to start doing social distancing, because it was just kind of time, and I didn't want to be on set because usually they're quite big calls. Even that day there was quite a lot of us, and I was just like, and there were older people there too, and I'm like, I'm not trying to infect anyone or be infected, so it didn't make sense for me to continue going to set. So I was just like, I'm gonna start practicing social distancing from Wednesday anyways, and if a small shoot comes up I'll probably take it. But then after the government were like, you need to stay home, you need to keep away from people if possible, don't like do any group things, and I was just like, okay, well I guess I'm home now. And then like the rules kept getting stricter and stricter, and all productions basically cancelled, and I knew I was essentially out of a job. It was over. I was just like, okay, well this is that. I am self-employed and the work I'm doing is no longer available. So I'm unemployed. I mean, I'm technically still self-employed. You know, I still have my other YouTube channel, which doesn't really bring much money, but like it's still part of my self-employment and other things I do. But this is my main source of work. Like working on film TV, that was my main source of work. And so the Chancellor had announced all these things for businesses, all these things for the employed. The employed get 80% of their wages now. That was announced yesterday. I've been following the news like crazy because I'm waiting for them to announce something substantial for self-employed people. Nothing. So yeah, people who are employed get 80% of their wages paid by the government for basically the next however long this lasts, which is great for them. And I'm really happy for all my friends who are employed. Man, good for you guys, because that's awesome. And so yeah, I'm not tearing those people down because they deserve to have that money. But at the same time, I feel like the people who are self-employed should have the same opportunity. And it's just really upsetting because like they just kept dodging the questions. Boris kept dodging the questions, and the Chancellor kept saying, oh, we've provided quite a bit already. All they'd done really at the time when they kept saying that was that that they would remove the minimum income floor for universal credit. Universal credit in the UK is our benefit system. The last update that the Chancellor had done is like, yeah, we've got this big change for self-employed people and freelancers. We're gonna be adding an extra 1,000 a month to universal credit. No, 1,000 a year, guys. Year. I wish. No, they're gonna add an extra 1,000 a year to universal credit, which means you'd probably get an extra £83 a month on top of whatever the universal credit rate currently is, depending on your circumstance. But essentially, everyone who's self-employed and freelance, the only way that you are going to get any money, a compensation for being home because the government, you can't work, number one, because either your work has stopped or because the government has said you must stay home and self-isolate or social distance. The only way you're getting that money is by going on benefits, which seems like a really strange solution. They could have been like, do you know what, we're gonna look at your last 2 years of your tax returns, your self-assessment, we're gonna come up with a mean income from that and give you 80% of that, even 50% of your last 2 years of income, and pay that out to you monthly like we're gonna pay to the employed. Would make more sense than to put everyone on benefits. So like, universal credit has already had a lot of criticism in the past, and there's been like loads of people who have been left without money between stages of changing. Like there's been so many problems with it since they changed the system. And now they're literally going to take, there are 5 million, I think, self-employed people in the United Kingdom. They're going to take all those people and chuck them on benefits. There is no way they're going to be able to handle that amount of like inquiries over the next week. Like, there's no way they're going to process that many people. So I'm just like, this is a bad idea. And I've been following like here we have Equity and Bec2, which are like the two unions for the performing arts and film and TV. And they've just been like going at it, being like, we need the Chancellor to do more, we need the Chancellor to change everything, he needs to come up with a better solution. Like, it just seems like they're really lazy and they don't want to make any legislation. Like, guys, this is your job. It's not my job to go out and set up like funds so that people actually have money because now they're out of a job because they were self-employed. It's not really my job, and that's a lot of responsibility. And as much as I thought like, oh, that'd be really cool if we had something like that, because in Hollywood they do kind of have something like that. Netflix just pumped like millions into the film and TV industry. So for Hollywood, they've pumped a bunch of money in to be handed out to all the crew and cast for their shows. So that's amazing. What do we have here? Nothing. Like billions film and TV brings every year to the industry, to the economy, and we have nothing. So, we have universal credit. Anyways, my rant is over. I just kind of had to get that off my chest. Yeah, I am out of a job. It's been something. I've been trying to not let it just screw me up in the head. And try not to think about how I'm going to pay for my rent. And also another thing is, which is kind of like how this kind of trails on to frustrate me further, is the fact that, as you guys know, I'm married and my husband is Canadian. He is on a work and holiday visa currently. And that means he has no recourse to public funds, which means he can't go on benefits. He's also self-employed. And so he won't actually be able to get anything from the state, unless it's contribution based, and he hasn't been here for 2 full tax years to actually be applicable for that. So we're kind of in a sticky situation because I technically can't, there's certain benefits I can't even get as a person, even though I am a citizen and I qualify for those benefits, because we obviously are married and living together. That complicates our situation a lot. So Monday morning, I'm going to be spending the first 3 hours of the day on the phone trying to figure my life out, trying to figure our life out and how we're going to make this work for us. Thankfully, we have family, we have some savings, but even then, that's just like, I don't want to have to use those things, honestly, and we shouldn't have to. And so yeah, I will keep you guys updated in the future. I just wanted to come on here and speak to you because I had spoken about being self-employed, and I obviously want to talk about like my work-life journey that was part of this channel and why I started it, to kind of inform people. And I just feel like it's really important to kind of talk about this because it's happening right now, instead of me just like moping and sitting there thinking about what I'm gonna do now that I don't have work. I thought it'd be just better to come and talk to you guys and explain my situation and what's going on and kind of what's going on here in the UK. So yeah, things are getting bad around the world. My love and prayers goes out to everyone who is suffering from indirectly from what is happening. Italy is, yeah, oh my gosh, Ludovico Einaudi did like this live let me not get emotional, let's not talk about it. But anyways, Ludovico Einaudi did a live on Instagram and he played a bunch of his songs, and I was just lying there with my glass of wine like tearing because it was just so emotional. And he's Italian and he had loads of shows obviously planned, and obviously that is nothing compared to the people who are dying, but it's just kind of like he was there in solidarity and to give like this free, people are doing it all over the world, giving things and their talents for free to everyone, things that they'd usually would be paid for. They're just offering it as just kind of some kind of relief to people and to just bring people a little bit of happiness. So I hope I can bring you guys a little bit of happiness and some positivity in the future. For now, things are a bit bleak, and London's essentially on some form of lockdown, and honestly I feel like it should be in a more secure sort of lockdown than it is currently. But do you know what, we can only do what we can only do. So I will see you guys next week, hopefully with better news and some positivity and light to give to you. Thank you for sticking by me, and I will continue to make videos. It's going to be a bit different because everything I ever wanted to talk about, maybe this is probably the best time to talk about the things I always wanted to talk about anyways. So I guess I can look at that 2 ways. It's either like, do you know, all the things I want to talk about, like buying a house, I can't do anymore. Like right now, that was one of the first things I thought about. I was just like, number one, I'm gonna have to dip into my house savings probably. Number two, can we ever get a place now? Because of everything that's happening, the economy, oh man, don't want to think about that. But anyways, yeah. So I will see you guys next week with another video. Take care, stay safe, stay inside if you can. My husband is home, he's staying home, and that makes me happy because we're not spreading anything to anyone, even though we're not symptomatic, but still, you know, just everyone has to do their part. So I will see you next week. Take care.